consider
concealed.
myself pretty mentally sound. If I was planning a mass event, the US law seemed to be ideal for me. And you could wipe loads of people out. You kill hundreds.
Clearly, he thought about it.
If you were to, try and hit me as a little girl, and I was to smack you and knock you unconscious and stuff like that, that's overkill, isn't it?
Yes, it would be unreasonable.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about, like, a lot of home invasions, maybe not everyone, but a lot of them are armed home invasions, right?
So
armed home invasions.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So then if you had your family in there, you would want that firearm at least as a last resort.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, the worst could happen, right?
I can understand that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I think it is a right. And when we talk about gun ownership, we're not talking about illegal gun ownership here.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of illegal gun ownership in Canada and the United States.
Yeah.
And much of the gun crime that happens in both of the countries is actually illegal gun owners, illegal gun
So
holders,
it's
right?
proportionality. So if you've got in my opinion, in a country like the US, or I don't know what it's like in Canada, where gun ownership amongst the criminal classes is quite high, then it's proportional to have some kind of gun to protect yourself. But then when you get into the realms of a fully automatic military-style rifle, is there any reason that a citizen should have that in their own home? Maybe they could have a club where you could control, they could play with it. I like mechanical things, and you could play with a machine gun there, but to have it in your home and have it personally where you could take it somewhere and cause absolute havoc. I've got a political grievance. I've got this massively powerful arsenal of weaponry. I could go out and take hundreds of people out here. That's not, we live in a society where it's all got to be proportional and in balance. Yeah.
Right. And the situations where you're talking about, though, those have happened, but there's always been warning, right, to people around them that are like, there's always been warning, right? So
I may have very strange political views, but I can keep them completely quiet. If you're a reasonably intelligent person, you can keep your plans quiet and unleash them on people in a horrific way if you so decided. Build up an arsenal. Go to a concert. There's loads of situations where you could cause absolute havoc with a military-style machine gun, and to allow people to have that personally in their own possession, I think is too far. While having in the US, but not the UK, where virtually no criminals have guns, it's very unusual that there's armed conflict in the UK. But
there's also a lot of knife violence, right?
Yeah, so you can have a knife at home, no problem with that at all. Yeah, but to allow everyone, it's the escalation of things. When people start handing out guns, I suffer from road rage. When people do terrible things to me when people annoy me on the road, I've done things, especially when I was younger, that with hindsight were irrational. And had I had a gun, I may have used it. There was a case when I was crossing the road in Germany 25 years ago where a guy in a brand new Porsche drove, because we were crossing slightly illegally, because you can't cross when it's not green, and he thought he'd teach us a lesson by driving extremely fast towards us, so we had to really run out of the way. Had I had a gun on me, at that moment with my fury, I may have shot at him and killed him or whatever, or bystanders. That would have been terrible on so many ways. So it's all a matter of balance. Right. So in the US, I don't know what the Canadian criminal classes are like. I can understand having a handgun in your home would be proportionate, but having any type of automatic military-style weapon is not. But you can have a club where we can carefully control it, and you can play to your heart's content with military-style apparatus. But you can't take it out. You can play with it there with your friends.
Yeah, so the situations we're talking about where there has been mass violence, it has been so much worse because there has been no one there, no good guy with a gun to stop the bad guy with a gun, right?
Yeah.
We can point to situations like in Texas, in the churches
it's the
where...
dream situation of lots of, say, how can I put it, men, alpha-type men, to think, whoa, imagine somebody starts shooting here and I had my gun and I could put them down and I'd be a hero. I can understand that mentality 100%, but I can assure you, if I was planning a mass killing with my automatic weapon, I would kill loads of people before somebody got to me. In fact, that would be part of my plan. I wouldn't want to live beyond that point. I think I want to go out with a bang. It'll be great. I'll kill lots of people. Finally, somebody will kill me. That was my end intention. And I've killed hundreds of people. I'll be famous, and my political cause may get loads of airtime. So, yeah.
Yes, but more people would be saved if someone else close to them had a gun. Like if you look at situations in churches in Texas where
I know
they,
that I've seen the clips on YouTube.
yeah, so
where
they, so many lives have been
the
saved.
ideal situation where somebody comes in, you know, about to shoot, and somebody's armed and just shoots them, and those have occurred. But if you look at the maths, I'm an engineer. You look at the maths, it doesn't make sense. Those are rare cases where the guy who does it, or the woman, I've seen the woman do it too, they feel great. But in the overall scheme of things, the number of people killed by mass shooters is far higher.
Wouldn't it be more ideal though, like given that, wouldn't it be more ideal to have more people who we know are mentally sound with their firearms
I consider
concealed?
myself pretty mentally sound, and but I can lose it to a degree as well. And I don't think it would be sensible for me to walk around with a gun all the time. I just don't. It's because I can lose my temper and have a really bad time with somebody, and 10 minutes later think, oh my God, I'm so apologetic. You know, I'm really sorry that there was a parking space issue a few months ago, and I really had a go at the guy and told him off. And about half an hour later, I felt huge remorse, thinking, oh my God, that poor guy. I just had a bad day. He parked terribly. I launched on him. Yeah, and then half an hour later, you think, oh no, I'm probably ruined his day just because I was in a bad mood. So. Right. It's proportional, yeah. So back to I'm going to get over to the football, or I'll get told off by my wife. Proportionally, in America, where lots of criminals have guns, having a handgun, you know, a manual handgun at home, probably a sensible thing to allow. Especially, you know, maybe you should be mentally checked for that. Somebody who's got schizophrenic issues or whatever.
Yes, well, that's what happens in Canada. I get a background check every single day because I'm licensed to hold a firearm.
Okay, well that's sensible enough. But as I said, if I was planning a mass, you know, event, the US law seemed to be ideal for me. So you know, that's something I would, you know, being British, I try and keep it, you know, pretty even, pretty, you know, taking all factors into account and come to a sensible conclusion. Right. I hope that if there are any more questions.
I did get it. Yeah, it's just if I were in that position and I wanted to go out with a bang, I would want to take as many people with me. Like looking at the people that have done that, I would not go to a place where I could potentially my life could be ended before I could succeed, right?
Okay, so what I would do, so you've got hundreds of people watching the football, I'll get a hotel room or something, I'll put sandbags, come up with sandbags, put the sandbags up, get a little hole for me, get my machine gun, and you can wipe loads of people out. You kill hundreds eventually the police will get into you, they'll probably throw a stun grenade into the window, then shoot you dead, but you think, that was my plan all along. Yeah, it's easy.
Well, then obviously we need a cure for mental illness. Than just...
No, believe me, there's a lot of people who've got things going on in their heads that do not exhibit it because they're relatively intelligent. It's like when you go to a job and they ask you a series of idiot questions about situations. If you're relatively intelligent, you're going to know what the correct answer is. You're not going to say a stupid answer which, oh no, we're not employing you. You could do the same with any mental health situation. A lot of the most evil people were actually highly intelligent. So, yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Oh, have a nice day.
Clearly, he thought about it.